I love Splatoon. It's my favorite IP, and the game I've put the most time into. About 1,800 hours and counting. I'd like to take you inside my thought process while I play. Every drop of ink made by each player works together to tell a story of an individual battle. So, this is the anatomy of ink. Each episode, I'll do a deep dive into 2 games that I found interesting while playing and while looking back on the recordings. Why is this first one an underdog story? Well, you won't have to wait long to see why. There. That's why. Great. I'm playing with the Kensa Splattershot Pro, a long-range support shooter. Let's see what we're up against. The other team has 2 chargers, a pro, and an octoshot. The immediate danger here is in their ability to lock us down with their overwhelming range. A lot is dependent on how our short-range shooter plays, and if I can effectively keep their short-range shooter at bay. I open this game by charging mid, because if we're going to have any hope of winning, I need my positioning as a support shooter to be locked in. My eagerness to get the easy charger kill did me in. I neglected to think about the second sniper having an open shot, and my teammate easily could have taken the kill while I held off the better positioned charger. Now, if this weren't Turf Wars, I likely would charge my special, then go right back to mid. However, if we're going to have any chance of winning this game, we'll need our base to be pretty solidly painted, which I work on here. Please ignore the boneheaded movement when I'm low on ink. Upon returning to mid, I encounter my clone, the opposing team's pro. He's got the high ground and thus the better positioning, and it's clear how that turns out. Mid clearly isn't the way to go. Their range and positioning have been superior, and this game is looking dire. I head to the right instead, acting on a hunch. This is looking bad indeed. I'm the first one back after we got wiped, but I'm hoping that our rangy opponents will move forward to lock us in spawn, leaving me an open, desperate flank on the right side. Ah, shit. That charger definitely saw me. I guess now is as good a time as any to pull off the game-winning power play. The other charger is distracted. Time to push. His bomb forces me further into mid where I don't want to be. Now, I correct my mistakes from my earlier deaths, abandoning the charger when other danger appears and out-positioning my clone for the kill. That charger is still hanging out somewhere, and we know they're aggressive, so... there we go. And suddenly, the game is ours to lose. Let's get this bread and win this 3v4, boys. At this point, it's about awareness. My teammate pops special to hold the chargers back, but only I know the octoshot is waiting to flank, so I back up and cover my bro. The Kensa Splattershot Pro is all about positioning. With this weapon, you'll be retreating quite often, but that's to your advantage, since you can outrange most every other shooter. Here, I get a bit greedy. I want to kill the other charger to really put the game away, so I sacrifice my positioning and get called out for it. We've been wiped again, and with 14 seconds on the clock, I'm forced to go straight to mid alone to contest. Except they're already there. And he's already flanking. Shit! Thankfully, my teammates were there to distract the ones holding bridge, and a last desperate pair of kills nets us the win. Please enjoy these victory stats. Let's switch to a more competitive game mode. What do you do in a tightly contested match when your opponent pulls ahead at the very end of the game? How do you deal with the sudden onset of a fifth opponent? The game clock. Looks like we've got an extraordinarily short-ranged group to contend with. 2 aerosprays, dualies, and a roller. I'm using the Kensa Pro again. Also, take note of their power rating. 1630, which is pretty low. They'll likely be very aggressive. Seeing as I have the most range in the lobby, I decide a frontal assault to counter their aggression would work well. But I should have stayed back on the bridge. I could have provided support against the roller while also being out of range. My mistake. Our brush friend here seemingly left the oven on, so we'll push on without them and try to defend. As long as bridge is secure, this perch is built for the pro as far as defending tower goes. Here, I commit a big no-no and keep my back to enemy territory for an extended amount of time. Sure, I'm defending tower, but I should have just kept to my perch. Kind of a goofy bomb physics death, but I deserved far worse after that really poor positioning. Not a tremendous start against a bad 1630 team. Now this is a far better example of how to approach a support role in this stage. Use range to get 2 kills on tower, then leave the aerospray stranded on the bridge with teammates coming from the left. Now, with 3 opponents down, it's time to choke their bridge and get some points on the board. This is one of those rare situations where I will allow myself to reasonably wonder where my teammates were. Usually I like to find some personal aspect of my own play to blame rather than heaping it on others. But here, I was positioned very conservatively in mid and almost got 2 kills while guarding tower. I suppose I could have swung to the right to avoid the tower's path, but the better question is, why is all that green flanking at once? Fortunately, we do keep the pressure on, and on this stage, that means covering their bridge. I pop special to help with that, but get a bit tunnel vision-y while trying to protect the tower. We finally have the lead, but let's see what happens next. I keep my approach at the bridge. If I'm mindful, it won't fail me against this short-range team. As a group, we let them come to us, using height as a bottleneck. However, instead of taking a defensive position on my usual lovely perch, I make another bad positioning move and corner myself deep on the right side of the stage. At this point, they are very close to regaining the lead, and I am not available to defend as they cruise through the checkpoint and under the bridge. I take a very odd angle here to try to stop the tower, which leaves me open to a flank from mid. This wipe was pure luck, and I think we all know it. 36 isn't unattainable with 2 minutes left, but it's close. We would be doing much better if my positioning was on point, and I realize that here. This is where the Kensa Splattershot Pro shines. I use my range and splat bomb to control mid, but a 3-shot kill gives me the freedom to occasionally make a coordinated rush with my slayers. When you're playing with this weapon, you should always work to keep a buffer zone of your own ink between you and enemy lines, instead of just bum rushing the other color all the time. That Neo Splash outmaneuvered me, but that's okay, because we have ink control now, and we're gearing up for a final shot at the win. My game plan here is to try to get another Booyah Bomb to secure our push under the bridge. I have it charged now, but I need to wait for the perfect opportunity to use it to essentially block an entire flank all at once. Bozo here on the other team shoots his behind the tower. What a rookie. Thank God Splatoon is a team game. Bad positioning again here by me, but my good buddy Corbo preserves this Booyah Bomb I've been wisely sitting on for over 20 seconds now. I reposition them to mid, where I've had the best luck, trying to stay alive to pop special. After about 35 seconds of waiting, I'm finally ready to cock-block Purple Team into oblivion for the win, and our brush does this to pair with me. Talk about absolute soul-crushing devastation for the other team. And I'm gonna pop that bomb right up in there to secure our path forward. At this point, it's a matter of ink conservation and trying to drag that tower to a few extra points to really send it home. Spacing and defense is key to close it out. Nothing to dissect about overtime, just us finally getting into groove as a squad and bringing home the dub. What do I want you, as a fellow Splatoon player, to take home about these two games? Lesson 1. Never underestimate the power play, and once you make it, secure your position. Lesson 2. Know your range. Try to play a few games specifically at the very edge of your range. Actively seek out those clone battles to really hone where you can and can't hit. That's all for now. If I happen to play a few more good games, I'll see you in the next Anatomy of Ink.